Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever the case may be. Welcome to the November MSMF Wealth Management Podcast. I'm joined, as usual, by my good friend Cody Redding. Cody, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Super. I'm pretty good. I'm still trying to stop laughing from the jokes, the hunting jokes we were telling before we started the podcast, which I'm not getting into. Mr. Ray Kemper, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Going hunting tomorrow. That's why the
Saturday.
Saturday. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well,
almost there.
Expect a full report when you get back.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, welcome. It's hard to say this, gents, but it's November already in 2025, and we are in the midst of some year-end planning, which is what we want to talk about today. We're calling it kind of the final push, financial strategies to end 2025 on a high note. So what we're going to do today, guys, is we're going to go through kind of all the areas of our clients' financial blueprints. And I'm going to ask you guys to talk about, there are things that have hard deadlines for the calendar year. And then there's always some things that we consider are appropriate to look at and potentially do or not do at the year end. So I'm going to start with, we'll go through again the nest egg, retirement, protection, legacy planning, and some tax considerations. Be forewarned, we are not CPS. One of my friends from compliance need to know that. But we are more than familiar with how a tax return flows. So we'll talk about a couple things. But let's start with the overall investment nest egg, Cody. And what are a couple things that we may have hard deadlines on or appropriate to consider here at the year end?
Yeah, so, kind of things that jump at the end of the list that have that 12/31 deadline would be a lot of these college savings plans, like 529 plans. Coverdale's have a pretty strict end-of-year deadline. If you want to get those contributions in for 2025, you need to make sure those come in before the end of the year.
Yeah, please don't wait till the day after Christmas.
And yeah, certainly let's try to do that before Christmas, because a lot of these, even a lot of the they're usually held mutual fund direct type things. They'll publish out their deadlines on how fast they can get the stuff processed. Right. So it's important that once December hits, let's be thinking about making those final contributions. For people that are coming to retirement here at the end of the year, maybe an early retirement or maybe an unfortunate layoff, there are some options you have as far as if you have company stock in your 401k called net unrealized appreciation. Don't have to go into all the details with it. Just know that if you have company stock, there are some tax advantageous ways you can separate out that company stock and not be taxed on all of it, or get better tax treatment, I guess you would say. If you are in that situation, or you have retired and your money's still at your 401k and you're thinking about maybe doing this, basically the rule is you need to make sure everything's out of the 401k by the end of the year. That's where you'd contact us and we'd kind of guide you through on if it's feasible to get it done by the end of the year.
Right. And it doesn't necessarily, if they were laid off or retired this year, it doesn't have to be out this year. It's just if you're going to take advantage of this particular strategy.
Correct. It needs to be out
all in one calendar year. So probably at this point, it's better just to pick up the phone and call us and we'd map it out for 2026.
Probably, okay. Yeah. Just given how slow it can be on.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving
on
parts
the other side.
Yeah.
And yeah, you got to make sure you get it right. Also, last 3 years, this year including, would be, the market has had some pretty big swings in that general and mostly to the upside, which is nice. So now is the time of year you think about maybe harvesting some of those gains, and or if you have some losses. Really the gains come to picture just because when you get into the long-term capital gain era, so you held something for a year or longer, and you're in a certain tax bracket, there are some preferential treatments that we could make sure you're using all that tax bracket up and maybe have to pay little to no taxes on it. Just kind of depends on your situation. But that's a big one I think a lot of people are unaware of, that we have clients that use that, and
Sure.
It saves them a lot of money.
Sure, absolutely. Cool. All right, that's the nest egg considerations.
That's the nest eggs.
Mr. Kraig with the K, how about some retirement strategy considerations here at year end?
Yeah, so one of the big ones we're always looking at towards the end of the year are the required minimum distributions. So if you're age 73 or older right now, you will have a required minimum distribution. That just has to be out of your IRA by the end of the year, so December 31st. One of the other things to look at is, say you have, an expense, coming up in January or February next year. Does it make sense to do an extra distribution in December based on where your tax brackets are at? Something we're always looking at. And then one of the ones that sometimes can be missed, just because you're probably not RMD age yet, is if you have an inherited IRA. If the person you inherited that from was taking RMDs when you inherited it, then you also have a requirement minimum distribution that you have to take. So I want to make sure you get that out of there by December 31st as well. Another big one are Roth conversions. So we like to play what's called tax bracket bingo in our office, seeing if it makes sense. Again, all back to taxes in your income, whether or not it makes sense to do a conversion. A conversion is a little different than a Roth contribution in that it has to be done. The taxes are in the year you do the conversion, so you can't retroact it like you can a Roth contribution when you file your taxes. So make sure those are done by the 31st as well. And then for anybody in a 401k or savings plan, we always like to challenge everybody to do the 1% challenge, which is just basically, at the new year, if you're contributing 8% to your 401k, up it to 9% and just do 1% each year. You won't feel the full effect in your paycheck like you would if you take it from 9 to 14 or 15%, so just a little bit each year to help boost those savings. And then just remember the catch-up contribution rule. So if you're over the age of 50, you can do an extra $1,000 to your IRA or Roth IRA contributions. So keep those in mind as well.
And there's still plenty of time to do Roth conversions, right?
There is, yeah. It just has to be done by the 31st.
And if we got to coordinate with somebody, CPA or accountant, there's plenty of time for that.
Happy to do so, yeah.
All right. Some retirement strategy considerations for year-end. Cody, batter up. How about some protection strategies for year-end?
Yeah, so, we kind of hit on it on the last podcast here.
Easy for you to say.
About, open enrollment, just making sure that, hey, that's going to be winding down here. If you haven't gotten to it and looked at all your employee benefits, now is the time to do it, making sure that you are taking advantage of all of the benefits that your employer does offer. Because it's always, usually when I go through it with the clients, they usually have no idea that they had all these other ancillary benefits that are really low cost and beneficial. Mm-hmm. FSA. So if you have a FSA account, it's the use it or lose it type thing to where you need to use it by the end of the year. And Kraig, what's the kind
typically
of
it's like a 3-month grace period going into the next
months.
year. Yeah,
it doesn't
have to check with your
necessarily
individual
have to be
plan.
up to that.
But yeah,
that the nice thing is that you have it available. But if you don't use it, then you lose the benefit of it. You can't roll it over. And HSA contributions. Making sure that you get those in by the end of the year. I think you actually have until the tax filing deadline, or is that
not for HSAs?
Not for HSAs. I'll have to double check on that one here. But if you haven't maximized or utilized the, what you can put up into it, now would be the time to get that done. And those are probably the big three ones on our mind here for end of year protection type things.
Absolutely. So acronym heaven here: FSA, flexible spending account.
Yeah.
HSA,
spending.
health,
You got to spend it.
Spending key. And
HSA is savings account.
Health savings account,
meaning that you put your money in it and you get to keep it.
Yeah.
You're a reformed employee benefits specialist, aren't
am.
You know some stuff. Yeah, we did catch you. All right, well, that's cool. That's some good protection considerations for year-end, Cody. Thank you. Mr. Kraig, I'm coming back to you. I know there are some significant things we look at from what we'll call legacy planning at year-end. If you want to walk through a couple of those for us.
Yeah, so one of the big ones is the annual gifting limit. So just as a reminder, you can give anyone, does not have to be a family member, you can gift anybody $19,000 per year, no taxes or anything like that. So if you're a married couple,
I'm waiting.
Me too.
I'll get back to you on that. So if you're a married couple, you can give your child $38,000 because you can combine those. Again, it's per person. So just keep that in mind. Has to be done in the year. Another one is if you have a donor advised fund, you need to typically distribute 5% of that fund each year to some type of charity. So just keep that in mind. That's one that can get kind of lost in the weeds over the year. And then another big one are QCDs, qualified charitable distributions. These are contributions or distributions you make from your IRAs. They're a little different in that you only have to be 70 and a half to be eligible to make these, as opposed to it's not RMD age. It used to be. But even if you're not RMD age, you can still make a distribution directly from your IRA to a charity, so you don't have to pay taxes on those. So that's a good one to use, especially if you don't itemize your taxes to get the tax benefit and still give to charity.
Cool. Yeah, just real quick on the annual gifting, because I know all three of us talk to our clients. It seems like a simple thing and a simple limit, but I know we talk to our clients that it's a great opportunity for our retired clients where we're comfortable they're going to have more than enough for the rest of their lives to see kids and grandkids enjoy gifts that they give them, as opposed to waiting until they both potentially die in order to get any type of inheritance. So we've just this year we've seen a couple use the 38K limit times 2 for their married children to help them with things like down payments on homes and things like that. So cool. Excellent legacy planning options for the year end. I'm going to bring it home with some tax considerations. Remember, I'm not a CPA. However, I do know the flow of a tax return quite well. For those of our clients that are in Missouri and you're doing tax estimates, as you probably know, there is a small Missouri tax advantage of making your federal estimates before year end. So consider that. If not, they're due by whatever it is, the 15th of January, I think it is this year. And secondly, and probably most importantly, if you're in a situation or you have a friend or relative or in a situation where their spouse died in 2025, so this is the final year that they can file a joint tax return. And there are a lot of differences between filing single versus filing joint. There are some significantly higher limits on your standard deduction. And we always suggest in that final tax return year that we have a conversation, and then if they have someone else prepare their taxes, to sit down and go through, because we can do creative things like larger Roth conversions and things like that in this final year of a joint return. And again, I know it's a difficult conversation for some people if their spouse died this year at all or recently, but it is a tax planning opportunity that's important to talk about and potentially get their tax preparer involved. Okay, it's a lot of stuff. Should we finish with a deer joke? I don't think we will. Cody, final thoughts, my friend.
Yeah, so, probably by the time you get this, you're thinking, I still got plenty of time to get this done, and it's going to creep up real fast. And just remember, especially waiting until the end of December, we're also reliant on how quickly the administration and the back office can get stuff done as well. Right. So try not to wait till the very last minute to get a lot of these items done. And if you got questions, certainly we're always here to help.
Absolutely. Kraig, final thoughts?
You took my line. No, I was going to kind of echo the same thing. Obviously, with the holidays coming, things get pretty hectic. So, once you hear this, check as many of these off as you can, as quickly as you can, so that way you can go and enjoy the holidays with your family.
Absolutely, yeah. And the only thing I'd add to that is it's a beehive of activity around here at year end, because we're covering all these things and even some other more minute things that we don't even have on the list. So please call if you have friends, family, colleagues that you've heard them express some concern about things they got to do before year end. Call us, email us. Y'all have the text line. Please reach out. We want to make sure these things are done right and obviously done timely. And in all cases, we want to avoid the crush between Christmas and New Year's. So have a wonderful Thanksgiving and a fantastic Christmas. Again, please reach out. God bless you and all your families. We'll talk to you next time.